What's up, everyone? Again, very small clip. Won't take too much of your time. This is from a previous longer video. Sometimes I'll throw those videos out there that are like 1 hour long. I know you guys don't have too much time. So this is just a clip of the tips. Before you invest on those gurus, do your research. So don't think that this is a repetitive video. I'm going to shoot these out every Friday, just so that you know that there's a rhythm going on. Okay. I hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe and also press that like button. Like just the like button, just pow. Anyways, let me know in the comments what you guys think, and until next time, right to it. Number one, how to detect fake gurus. So this is something that really takes, I guess, a lot of viewership, and the more you get into that exposed and you start seeing all these channels, you start kind of like getting the feeling of what these gurus are trying to sell. So there should be certain tactics that you should look out for, and think of it as your BS meter or something like that, where, tons of people could come at you trying to sell you something. I'll give you an example. Let's pretend you're walking in New York City and someone just comes up to you and they just pull out a suitcase and they're trying to sell you some watches or some Rolexes. They're like, look, this is one of a kind. This is where it's at. Da, 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 da. And then you're just kind of like, not so much. That's your radar, right? So normally you have by default a certain type of radar that tells you who's kind of like in it just to scam you and who's actually being for real. And a lot of these tactics that these gurus are using is that they're flashing a lot of money at you. They're flashing the watches, they're flashing the cars, they're flashing the lifestyle. Look, I live it. This is what I do, the XYZ. Look at my mansion, look at this, all this stuff. And if that is the hook to try to get you in, you have to be careful for that type of stuff, right? You could do that too if you wanted to. All you have to do is just save up some money and just go and rent yourself a sports car, go to Miami or something like that and post up in front of some palm trees and then just start talking, right? I honestly don't think that that's an honest way to go about it. And of course, not trying to knock nobody's hustle. If that's the way you get your money and you're watching this and that's just the way you roll, then by all means do your thing. But the purpose of this is to just kind of like break down a little further as far as what this is really all about. There's all types of consumers for everybody. There's a consumer to sell something very cheap, and then there's a consumer who would purchase something extremely expensive. Everyone has their own radar as far as what they believe is true and what they believe is fake, right? And everybody has this different radar. But when it comes to money and investment, you have to be extra careful because you worked very hard for that money. And although what you're looking at, which is the guru, and he's just looks so conglomerate and all this type of stuff, you gotta be careful with these things and pay very close attention also to how the people are reacting around it, right? So when you're ever watching a video, one of the first things that I would perhaps suggest is to do some extra research on the individual. Go on Google and type in scam something, right? To see if that person is attached to some crazy thing, right? Just do some extra research. You might find some videos out there that talk about like post reactions or, hey, this person is exposed, they're not telling the truth due to XYZ. And also, just overall, just be very careful on your investment. I feel that a lot of the fake gurus, what they tend to do is just exactly that. They're extremely young and they're making these huge claims that they made over $100,000 or they made thousands of dollars all in one day. And it's just so easy to fake things, especially with the platform of Shopify. I'll give you an example. Let's pretend that someone's showing you like a screenshot. They're like, look at all these sales and so on and so forth. You know what? On Shopify, all you got to do is just go to the platform, right? And you create a fictitious order. The way you do that is that you create a customer name and then you put all of these things inside of the product and then you manually invoice the fictitious customer, okay, for like a whole bunch of money. And then, inside of the dashboard, you fulfill it manually and you say this order has bin processed due through an external payment gateway, meaning that the money you collected it via wire or something like that, and mark it as paid. And therefore, the Shopify dashboard, what it does is that it reflects that sale as if it were a Shopify sale, right? So you see how they just faked a sale and they're showing you these fake numbers. Or what they do is that they take a screenshot of the dashboard and they'll hire a graphic designer, let's say from Fiverr, and they'll Photoshop it. They'll find exactly what that font is for the number, and then they'll change the number so that it looks very real. And therefore, here you are looking at some kid who has this fake dashboard, and just so that you could buy his course, because that's how he lured you in. That's horrible, right? People who either make videos on just claims, like it almost sounds like an infomercial. If you're getting infomercial vibes, that alone should give you the biggest hint that it's like, nah. And then finally, and there's tons of steps, by the way, guys. And then finally, another thing is that, if your gut is telling you that it's too good to be true, then chances are it is. If something in the back of your mind, that consciousness that makes decisions for you, that you're like, hey, this kind of doesn't feel right. Sometimes you got to pay attention to that, not to close the door entirely, but to do some more research on this individual to see if it is in fact true what they say, right? And again, you just got to really watch out what you're looking for. And a lot of these fake gurus, they just don't do that. They don't give that authenticity vibe. Instead, they're peacocking. That's what they're doing. They're showing their feathers a lot. And they're like, you could have this too. You need to watch out for that, in all honesty.